Hi everyone, I'm going to continue this series of the Halacha, the Yalkut Yosef one here in a bagel restaurant here. As you can see some of the scenes. This is in Israel, in the city of Bet Shemesh over here. I've got the book out and we're going to continue. Actually, it's a special episode where we're talking about what preparations we should do for Shabbat itself. What should we do? Did the great rabbis in yesteryear, did they actually take part in getting ready for Shabbat? Did they cut the vegetables? Did they cook the food also? Did they partake in all these things? We're going to find all this out now in today's section here inside the Yalkut Yosef. So we will get started now over here. This is in a bagel place here in the city of Bet Shemesh. Just putting the book out, and I have over here we get started now over here. Just get the right angle. Over here's the book. So it's a special edition over here, Yalkut Yosef. So let's get started. Just got it with a small coffee. Nothing like getting up in the morning, teaching Torah, learning Torah. We're learning together over here in this series. Wherever you guys are going to watch, it's going to be today, it's going to be any specific day in the future. We've already had a few thousand views on this specific series of the Halacha of Shabbat. We're talking about honoring Shabbat today as a special treat. Let's just get everything ready. The place always come prepared. We've actually covered a lot already. We are already in Siman 240. In fact, Siman 250. So we're preparing the Shabbat meals we're talking about over here. I'm going to say the bracha Baruch Atah Adonai. So we're taught that, we actually learned, the Rabbonim actually said that preparing for the Shabbat meals before Shabbat is a mitzvah onto itself. There's something intrinsic about doing it. In fact, there's a Biur Halacha cited several sources suggesting that it's a mitzvah of the Torah actually to prepare for Shabbat. So if you've got like a Rosh Hashiva or something, still they've got a specific mitzvah on themselves, so do some Shabbat preparations or whatever it might be. They're actually taught in Masechet Shabbat in Daf Peichet that Moshe Rabbeinu ascended Mount Sinai for 5 consecutive days. When was this, friends? In preparation for receiving the Torah. But on the 6th day, on the Friday naturally, he remained down in a camp. He had no time to ascend the mountain. Instead he was occupied with Shabbat preparations. That's one thing we learn. Also, preparing for Shabbat has such importance that the Rabbonim actually proclaimed, as we learn in Masechet Pesachim in Daf Yud Gimel, that Eliyahu the prophet, Eliyahu Navi, will not reveal himself to us to announce our imminent redemption from the exile on a Friday or on the day preceding a Yom Tov, naturally, because of the preparation once again for Shabbat. Furthermore, in Masechet Ta'anit we actually learn, Rabbi Yitzchak, recording, even if we are suffering a drought as terrible as the one in the time of Prophet Eliyahu, if it would rain on Friday, it will be considered something not good, something not a blessing, there's a curse even. Rashi explained that it's a curse since the rain would make it difficult for people to go out and shop for the Shabbat meals over here. There's a lot can be said over this. Also, it's related over. Rav Eliezer Papa, what does he say? In the book, the Ye'eluzah Hasidim, if someone was told that the king and queen were coming to be guests in his house, what would he do? He would be filled with joy and he would say, what a great honor it is for me that they are coming to my home. And that's how we should treat the Shabbat, because on Shabbat itself, the Shabbat queen is actually going to come in, and that's why we've got to prepare for Shabbat. So we've got to do all the delicacies and make it very, very interesting. So Rav Shimon Pinchas actually asks a fundamental question concerning the concept of Shabbat being a queen and of the demand for us to prepare as if the king were about to pay a visit. Why is it that we the Shabbat, as if it's why we giving it an analogy as if it's a human being itself, calling a queen? We do not find that our sages gave a personality to any of the other mitzvot, with the exception of the Torah itself. Regarding Shabbat, we find expressions like Shabbat says. Shabbat is coming, that's what we say. There's different songs. I remember Shabbat is going, we're greeting the Shabbat itself, escorting the Shabbat. That's why we sing Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala on Shabbat itself. It just shows the amount, the greatness. The greeting the Shabbat means greeting the Shekhinah in itself, because the Shekhinah, the divine presence, is in this Shabbat. When we prepare for Shabbat, we are preparing actually to meet Hashem itself, who allows His holy presence to descend into our homes. So it's very incredible. So we'll try. We are now in Siman 250, and let's try and get through this section over here. A very good coffee over here. We have a free advert for them. Okay. Helping to prepare for Shabbat. Now this is the first one. We are in Sif Aleph of Siman Reish Nun 250. Yashkim b'boker b'yom shishi lachin tzirchei Shabbat. You should get up early in the morning in order to do the Shabbat needs, whatever you need to do. V'nachon liknot kol tzirchei Shabbat be'erev Shabbat. It's good to actually buy the produce which you're going to use close to Shabbat is coming. V'lo kodem, we shouldn't buy it on a Tuesday or a Monday for 4 days later. We want the food to be fresh and everything else. That's ideal. And we want it to be noticeable to other people we're buying it for them. Ele imken choshesh shelo yimtza liknotam b'yom shishi. If we've got a worry that we might not be able to find these products because of, especially during the coronavirus, there used to be a shortage, so people panicked by boards and everything else, then you can actually buy earlier on in the week. Or yeshlo isha ubanim ubanot hamichinim avuro tzirchei Shabbat. ישתדל להכין בעצמו איזה דבר לצורכי שבת כדי לכבודו. Everyone inside the house should actually have some sort of action with regards to preparing for the Shabbat. כי מצווה בו יוצא בשלוחו. It's a mitzvah onto someone itself. You know, there's a greater significance, and we pay someone else to buy or to prepare or do all those things. It's better you do it yourself, because you're actually getting a chilek, you're actually taking part in it also, in the whole thing. Okay. The sweat that someone actually brings by doing the things, preparation for Shabbat. Just like we are wiping out the tears with regards to when someone is crying and they're doing teshuvah, the mitcharetz, they're repenting and they're crying a lot and everything else. It's the sweat, the zayah, the drops of the sweat is a microcosm of this. It's a reflection of this. Okay. We shouldn't be lazy when it comes to preparing for the Shabbat. You know, buy the delicacies, do all those things which is necessary with regards to it. Everything we're buying for the Shabbat, buying the good fish, whatever it is we say, when we're buying it, we're on the till, we're actually paying the cashier. We should say this is for the honor of Shabbat itself. Like Yosef Mokir Shabbat, he actually said himself that whenever he bought something, famous story, I've done a video, I'm not going to talk about it now, but he said Zelichot Shabbat Kodesh, he had everything in mind. Okay, so even after performing Shabbat preparations early in the morning, it is commendable to perform some other tasks just before Shabbat begins. So that's very, very interesting. Okay, now we're talking about making Shabbat purchases on Thursday. What does the Yalkut Yosef say about it? Yesh omrim shenachon liknot kol tzrichei Shabbat biyom shishi. There's those at Rabbanim that say that you should actually buy the stuff on Friday itself. Kedei shitachol alehem kedushat Shabbat, because you're putting on the purchases of what you're buying the sanctity of Shabbat itself. Okay, ulam b'mei choref haktzarim כשישלחו שאם ימתין מלקנות צרכי שבת ביום שישי לא ימצא כמה צרכי שבת בשוק יקדים לקנות מיום חמישי. If we're worried that there's going to be a lack of the products, the items that we actually want to buy on Friday itself, maybe they might not have it inside the shop or whatever it might be, then we should actually buy it on the Thursday itself. Then there's a precedence, and obviously to buy it early because you want to have the best produce possible. Yep, okay. We should obviously naturally pray the shacharit service first. We should go to synagogue first, pray. Ideally, get up for nets. Mitzvot is ideal over there. Okay, so obviously first daven shacharit. If you're in an area where everyone's running to buy the produce 8 o'clock in the morning when it opens, and you're davening at that time, what does it say? Should we actually buy this stuff before we actually pray? Then you can actually buy it before the prayers actually start, before you go to the synagogue. Then you go to the bakery or whatever it is, get the best or the butchers, whatever it is. You have to say Kriyat Shema. You must not forget about that, and definitely before you buy it. So just say that by yourself and then go to daven. Let's try and get 4 more halachot done. A very good caramel coffee over here. I think it's called Holy Bagel here. It's a chain of bagel places here in Israel. Okay, now we're talking about participating in Shabbat preparations. Can a Talmid Chacham, a scholar, do it? Because many people would argue that a person, a great rabbi, should be learning every single second, should not be taking breaks. Maybe this is Bitul Torah. Let's find out now. Gam Talmid Chacham שתורתו אומנותו צריך להשתדל להכין איזה דבר לכבוד שבת. Even a Talmid Chacham, a great scholar, should actually be involved in the Shabbat preparations. וכמו שמצינו ברב חיסדא שהיה מחתך את הירק דק. He actually, Rav Chisda, this great rabbi, actually cut the vegetables into fine pieces. ורבא ורב יוסף היו מבקעים עצים. They chopped the wood, these two rabbis. Rabbi Zera haya madlik et ha'esh. He would actually light the fire. This will work. Rav Nachman haya metaken habayit. He would actually make the fix the things inside the house. Umachnis kelim hatzlichim leShabbat. Get the utensils ready for Shabbat. Umafane klei hachol. Okay, so he's actually what we're doing. Other mundane jobs, menial tasks, he would also do. It's not like like degradation of their honor. If a great rabbi is actually doing these, let's say, small tasks for Shabbat, it's not at all. It's a mitzvah tension from the Torah. Ki zehu kavodo shemechabed haShabbat. This is the honor of Shabbat here, so we shouldn't be. V'lechen ra'oi lekol echad lema'at ma'at milimudo be'erev Shabbat kedei lachin tzrichei Shabbat. We should not stop learning. By all means, learn the whole time, but just minimize it a bit more than regular to actually accommodate some time to actually do the Shabbat needs. Ulam kshish lo mi sheyachin lo tzrichei Shabbat. Ein sorech shema'at milimodo yistapek b'ma sheyachin davar mu'at leShabbat. Okay, so what's it saying here? Therefore, every Torah rabbi, scholar, should take some time off his learning in order to perform Shabbat preparations. If there are others who can perform the necessary tasks, however, the Torah scholar need only perform some tiny symbolic task. So we're not saying that give up learning. No, you should be learning a lot. If there's someone else, especially in the house, then that person should do it. But he should still be involved a little bit. It's maybe symbolic. He should actually do something extra over there. He should do something minimal and let other people in the house then do the majority of the stuff there. So then his full learning schedule would not really be compromised. Halacha Daled now. Okay, we're still in the topic of Torah scholars here, of Rabbanim. Mutar leTalmid Chacham le'asok b'achanat tzirchei Shabbat gam kshe'acherim ro'im ota. If a rabbi is actually he's actually preparing for Shabbat and all his students are near him. His students, they could be 15, they could be 16. He shouldn't be worried and embarrassed that he's doing Shabbat preparations. He should be happy about it because he's showing how much honorable the Shabbat actually is itself. He should also be involved in the preparations of building a sukkah. Also, you might think that this is not timing to do it and stuff like that. He should do it. Just as a side note, I find it difficult. I'm not the best handyman in the world, so usually I would pay someone before Sukkot to actually build a sukkah, but still I would partly be involved when it comes to setting it up. Let's okay. It's noticeable that he's doing it for Hashem, for God. He's doing it for the honor of Hashem, all these activities. Now, two more halachot here. Hey and Vav, let's go through it. Mitzvah lit'om matavshilim shel Shabbat be'er Shabbat. There's actually a mitzvah to actually taste the food of Shabbat itself. Believe it. Kedei lirot im hem mitoknim la'achila. Kedei shiyu nachalim b'Shabbat le'oneg. We've got to see if the taste is good, if it's edible on Shabbat, if it's going to be, the guests are going to like this food on Shabbat itself. So it's actually a mitzvah to actually taste it and to see if they're going to enjoy it or not. וסמוך לדבר, תאומי החיים זכו, וכל התואם תבשילו בערב שבת, מעריכין לו ימיו ושנותיו. Oh, it's amazing. They actually go as far to say that if you're actually going to taste the food on the Friday itself, before Shabbat comes in, it actually is going to add years to your life. That's how great it actually is. And lengthen days also. ונכון לטעום מכל מין ומין. We should taste every kind of food possible over there. Remember, if you're tasting something meaty, you're going to become meaty now, and you're going to have to wait the 6 hours respectively, if it's especially in the summertime. Okay. We should on Shabbat itself, we should drink a lot of more wine than usual. Mitzvah to have the kiddush on red wine. We should eat red meat, basar, ideally, because we actually know on Sukkot and Shavuot and Pesach is mitzvah chag. That is when you drink wine and eat red meat also. That applies on Shabbat also because there's a real simcha with regards to these foods itself. Let's talk about preparing on Thursday now. Last halacha for the day. If you're going to prepare on Thursday instead as opposed to Friday, and you're not going to have anything else to prepare on the Friday itself, then you actually learn Torah to whatever capacity, the regular things that you can do, and you go about. נראה דעיקר המצווה יהיה ביום שישי והמכין ביום הכל לא קיים מצווה אחרי כראוי. If you're going to do everything on the Thursday advance to free time, or you've got anxiety, you don't have pressure on you, you're going to be missing out on the preparation of Shabbat on the Friday itself. So one should leave some of the preparation itself to actually Friday itself, so then you would get that mitzvah itself. So guys, I would like to dedicate this Lilu Nishmat Rivka Bat Rachel, who passed away this week, and may her neshama be in a good place at the moment. Next topic we're going to talk about is pursuing weekday activities late on Friday afternoon. So that will be in the next session, which will be Siman 251. I believe it's either 14th or 15th installment of the Yalkut Yosef series. So enjoy and take care.